Evening, everyone. So today I'll be talking about the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, commonly known as DACA. Some background information on DACA is that it gives young undocumented immigrants temporary work permits as well as relief from deportation. It must be renewed every 2 years. There are many other requirements that must be met to be eligible for DACA, which you can find at uscis.gov for more information. For the sake of this speech, I will not go into much detail about the requirements for DACA. My claim is that DACA has a positive effect on the U.S. I hope to reach this conclusion through these 3 main points. First, DACA has a positive impact on the U.S. educational system by giving undocumented immigrants increased access to higher education. Secondly, DACA recipients improve the U.S. economy when they get temporary work permits. And finally, DACA beneficiaries positively contribute to their communities. To begin, I will talk about how DACA has a positive impact on the educational system by giving undocumented immigrants increased access to higher education. An estimated 65,000 undocumented immigrants graduate from high school each year, but they are met with various barriers for higher education. Cases like where they can't get financial aid or they don't have a job to pay for tuition. DACA recipients are more likely to pursue higher education due to the job security after graduation. A survey taken by Tom K. Wong, a political science professor out of the University of San Diego, states that 65% of the survey participants pursued higher education after their application was approved for DACA. Also, 46% of DACA recipients are attending school. 70% of the 46% are pursuing bachelor degrees. Again, the source is Tom K. Wong out of UCSD. 28% of DACA recipients have a bachelor's degree or higher. By receiving DACA protection, students are more likely to finish college because they do not have to fear the deportation. Now, secondly, DACA recipients improve the U.S. economy by receiving temporary work permits. AmericanProgress.org states that 91% of recipients are currently employed. For ages 25 and older, it jumps to 97%. 69% of respondents have moved to a better paying job that matches their level of education, according to the survey taken by Tom K. Wong. With recipients earning more money, they have the means to purchase goods more often, the likes of cars and houses, which increases the state revenue by through the sales tax of the goods purchased. Research has also shown that DACA will increase the U.S. GDP in the term of a decade by $460.3 billion. States like California will receive roughly $11.3 billion a year, reported by Center for American Progress and Forward.us. Finally, DACA beneficiaries positively contribute to their communities. 90% respondents in the survey got their driver's license or state IDs, which is an example of public safety because it provides a form of identification. This is beneficial for the communities because more immigrants will have likely learned the laws of the road, pass the driver test, and even obtain an auto insurance. DACA recipient families are more likely to participate in social and political activities. 81.5% of DACA family members that range between ages 18 and up are registered to vote, according to the survey taken by Tom K. Wong. Ultimately, the benefits DACA presents to undocumented immigrants has a positive effect on the U.S.
All right, the proposition and the structure clearly laid out at the beginning of the speech, so that's solid. I do think that you could talk a little bit more about the controversy as an attention device. That would make some sense. But I think people are generally aware about some of the issues that are involved here. The signposting in the body of the speech is pretty good. There's usually good explanation about the supporting points. I appreciated the fact that you didn't go through all of the individual requirements to be eligible for DACA, because that doesn't seem particularly relevant to the claims that you're presenting. So I thought that was a wise choice on your behalf. The statistical information on graduation rates, on school attendance, on the acquiring of bachelor's degrees, I thought that was good information. You had a lot of statistical information there. You also had good statistical information on the employment issues. So when you're making the argument about the benefit to the economy on that second point, I think that that's pretty solid. The estimate about the GDP, I think, needs to be explained a little bit more. You do have a source for it, but how they arrived at that conclusion, I think, needs to be documented a little bit more. When you talk about positive impact on the nation, on their society, on their culture, that sort of thing. Listening to the information about driver's licenses is okay. That they're registered to vote, that seems like it might be a potential problem here, because if they're not citizens and they're registering to vote, that seems like it's a violation of the law, and that would be in conflict with the DACA requirements. So there's a potential wrinkle there that could be exploited by the respondent's speaker. I do think you have a tendency to keep it very simplistic. It's okay with the data that you're giving. I think we need a little bit more context for some of the controversy that's involved here. What would be lost, for example, if people were not allowed to stay? Would they not be, would they actually have to leave if they lost DACA? The difference is, we've got a 2 or 3 year history with the original executive order, and it sounds to me like you're giving an awful lot of inferences about what it's accomplishing within a short amount of time, and I'm not even sure that it's reached those levels. But I like the data that you have. It's, like I said, there's extensive statistical information there. All right, thank you.